Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're breaking down the 5th episode of The Bad Batch Season 3, and oh my gosh, we are just so lucky as fans of Star Wars and just pop culture in general right now. I just posted my review of Dune Part 2. Please go check it out. It would mean a lot to me. And on that note, we're at 950 subs, kind of the final stretch towards 1,000. And again, thank you so much for clicking on this video. It means a lot to me. If you could leave a like and join us on the road to 1,000 subs, it would mean so much. With that out of the way, let's break down the awesome episode that was Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 5. This whole episode is about the rekindling of the brotherhood between Crosshair, Hunter, and the rest of the Bad Batch. They take refuge on the planet that was present in the previous season of the Bad Batch, and Crosshair is practicing his aiming, but he's got a steady hand issue. Now, I don't know if this is a mix between mental issues as well as physical issues, but we know Crosshair's been through a lot. He was stuck out in the cold with the clones, and yeah, it could just be a mashup of a ton of different things. While Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker have been reunited with Omega, Omega really wants to reunite Crosshair with his brothers once again. While Crosshair is definitely on the path to complete redemption, he's still worried that his brothers will not accept him back in. And he doesn't blame them. He's still at fault for all of the horrible things he did, but he acknowledges the issues and the problems and the mistakes that he had made. And the show paces this out perfectly. We get a one-on-one with Omega and Crosshair. We have the Bad Batch getting back together, but it's kind of bittersweet because of all the baggage that is on them with the death of Tech and so on and so forth. Echo finally reunites with the Bad Batch, and we're getting the sense of the band getting back together, kind of. We then cut forward in time to the Bad Batch just having a moment to relax. They're having a meal together, and they're discussing how they can go back and save all the clones on Tantus, and to do so, Crosshair knows a facility where they can gain control of the pathway to Tantus. They need to get past this Imperial encryption, and you can tell they don't trust Crosshair fully. Crosshair's trying so hard to be the redemptive character. He knows what he did is wrong, and his brothers are rightfully so not fully trusting in him yet. And he knows this. He has to earn their trust again, and by doing this, he thinks he will do so. Hunter, Crosshair, and Echo go to this planet, and I love the outfits here. We get a wide range with Crosshair putting his uniform back on, kind of stretching it on, not because maybe it doesn't fit, but because it's been so long since he's worn it. We have the worn down armor for Hunter, and of course the sick outfit for Echo. In this facility, Crosshair finds the helmet of the clone trooper that he was trying to help save when they were out in the cold storm, but he ended up dying, and this is when Crosshair turned against the Empire. Another reminder for Crosshair that he's changed now, and he realizes the bad stuff that he's done and how terrible the Empire is. The tension is so high, especially between Crosshair and Hunter, so they finally have a hashing out, and it is a beautiful scene. Both men are to blame here. Hunter, of course, blames Crosshair for all the atrocities he did in betraying his brothers, but Crosshair also blames Hunter for not going out immediately when the signal was put out to save Omega. I'm once again so impressed by D. Bradley Baker's ability to voice all of these clones so differently, where I don't think of them as the same voice, whereas if I heard Captain Rex, Commander Cody, those all sound pretty familiar, but the Bad Batch is so unique, and the voice done by D. Bradley Baker is just impressive every week, especially in this episode. Crosshair tells Hunter how he betrayed the Empire, and he realizes what he did was wrong, again, trying so hard to be redemptive. Throughout this episode, we see these various different sensors that are posted around the outpost, and we don't know what these are until after this conversation between Crosshair and Hunter, a giant worm pops out of the ice. And of course, everyone is going to say, wow, on the same weekend that Dune came out with the sandworms, you got Bad Batch having an ice worm. Very weird coincidence. I don't know if it is a coincidence, but it's a cool monster nonetheless. Just not as cool as the sandworms. And it's within the battle with the ice worm that Crosshair and Hunter have to come to terms and trust each other once again. Hunter gets trapped under the ice, and it's up to Crosshair to save his life, and he does. With the ice worm now stopped in its tracks, Echo realizes that they have enough information between the stuff from the installation and the information given to him by Omega and Crosshair. They can now go back to Tantus and save the clones. As the episode ends, we get another conversation between Hunter, the leader of the Bad Batch, and of course Crosshair, and he is just kind of reflecting and apologizing for what's happened. He thought he was being a good soldier. He thought he was just following orders, but now he realizes that they don't care about him. He should only have to care about his brothers. And I've said this almost every single episode, the music in this season so far has been at its peak. The themes are so dark, so brooding, and so inspiring at the same time, and also uplifting when they need to be. I'm in love with Crosshair's theme, and especially when him and Hunter are having these conversations. Hunter tells Crosshair that when this all was going down, when the Empire was taking over, nobody knew what to do or what was actually going on. They just kind of had to go with the flow, and this isn't really letting all of the bad things that Crosshair did be fine. This is just Hunter letting him know that you can now strive to just be better. Don't hearken just on the past. It's about the future. Live in the now. Try and do good now. And that's really the whole theme of this episode. We're seeing these brothers get back together, and they have to prove to one another that they can trust, and now their heads are in the right place and they can do the right thing. I think it's a beautiful redemption for Crosshair, and overall this episode was great. Did a lot happen in terms of advancing the plot? No, but emotionally, the connections with the Bad Batch getting back together and being as one is just something we wanted to see for so long, and it's done and executed perfectly. Lastly, I want to point out this ice bird that pops up on this planet. I believe we saw this bird back in season 2 on this planet when Crosshair betrayed the Empire, and I think it's kind of symbolic. I don't want to say it's a phoenix being reborn. It is an ice creature, so it's kind of the opposite, but this kind of reminded me a little bit of Morai, the owl that follows Ahsoka. But I would love to hear your guys' interpretation of this bird in the comment section, as well as just your general thoughts about this episode. So leave a comment down below. I read every single one. I most likely will respond if it's positive. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us on the road to 1,000 subs. I will see you all very soon.